Jacob, you broke the news that Jactroll will be replacing Destiny on Origin. That article is up at espn.com/esports right now. What do you make of the move?
I'm confused. I'm not. So, business Jacob Wolf is not confused. Analyst Jacob Wolf is very confused, and I will explain why. The analyst part of my brain is very confused because Destiny was not the issue altogether. Do I think he was great? No. Do I think that he was the problem? Also no. I think that Nuke Duck is awful right now. It looks really bad on Origin. I think that Xerxes needs to step it up because he's performing very poorly compared to how we have seen him perform in the past on teams like Splice. I don't think Destiny was the problem. And I don't think that Jactroll is a good replacement. Now, business Jacob Wolf, the business side of my brain, knows a few things. One, Origin and the Astralis group at large are in a very tricky financial spot right now. They have cut down salaries. This has been reported by Richard Lewis, and I've confirmed this myself. They've cut salaries in the midst of COVID. They, to a certain percentage, they are being pretty thrifty with their spending more generally. And they're also having to make some roster changes that have come with some buyouts in some instances in the case of Astralis. So monetarily, they are at a very rough position. Jactroll didn't cost them a dime. And that is why it's particularly interesting because they didn't have to buy him out of Vitality. He was let go of Vitality because Vitality wanted him to play some games. They wanted to give him that opportunity. They don't want to use him on either of their rosters. His future at Vitality was basically non-existent, and so let him go, right? Like, we're in a weird market where everybody's not spending a bunch of money anyway. I know that there were I have heard there are other teams like Schalke that were interested in him before that were scared away by buyout, right? The fact that he had one. And I think that at this point, like, they don't really have any plans for him, so it makes sense, right? Like, he's free of charge and you can get him. Origin says they're adding him as a 6th member, and that they did confirm he's playing this weekend versus G2. And in my opinion, like, he's probably going to be the permanent replacement for whatever reason, but he's not a very good player, or at least he hasn't been the past year. And so I'm not like all inspired by the Jactroll move. I have very little faith in Origin performing as a team at this point. I'm very down on their ability to qualify for the World Championship at this point, as I have been for the past couple of weeks, even before it got progressively worse. And I'm sad because I actually do think Destiny was getting better. What better means subjective, right? But like, I think he had a pretty dismal spring compared. And look, like, he's also the first Oceanic player to ever play in Europe, so obviously there's super high expectation. But he had a pretty dismal spring. He's gotten a lot better in the summer by most panelist accounts, right? But still a lot better from being really bad to start off. Is again, that's a scale. But to me, like, he shouldn't have been replaced. They should have looked at Nuke Duck first. And I don't understand the Jactroll move other than the money part of it.
Oh, Origin.
That's it. Origin, you know.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, this is not like a real surprise to anyone here. Like, we did our preview show for summer, our preview extravaganza. Every single one of us said Origin was going to be the biggest appointment in the entire field. Like, they were like, none of us were really bullish on Origin. And I think this is kind of why. Like, we saw, Astralis kind of breaking at the seams, the overall Origin Astralis group. And Nuke Duck has not been playing very well, or as Jacob would say, he is bad. So the team is Afari, who's amazing, and I think it's really, really sad that Afari is having kind of his breakthrough season where he's becoming a superstar player, like a legitimate, like, top 5 player in Europe, like the best, I would say, best top laner in Europe, on a team that is kind of unraveling at the seams. And I think another reason why they picked up Jactroll is because I'm going to guess that Upset, who's been doing it with him a lot, even in the last month or so, on stream and just in solo queue or in duo queue, is he's wanted to play with Jactroll, and Upset is one of those probably players was paid the most during the offseason. I would have to believe, because almost every team around the world wanted him. Various NA teams wanted upset, and he went to Origin, so they probably paid a big bounty for him. So when it comes down to it, it was probably a Destiny saying, I feel more comfortable playing with Jactroll, and they picked up Jactroll to appease upset. Which, he is one of their star players. Him and Afari are kind of dragging the team as it goes. It just really sucks because I think upset or Afari on a more established team could be, world champions. Like if you put Afari on Fnatic right now with Bwipo kind of going downhill and not looking like his usual self as he was.
A whole other can of worms there.
Another can of worms, where if you put Afari on Fnatic,
another internal can of worms. Yeah.
Maybe that team could go to a world championship. Or if you put upset in the right situation, he could be that star carry that brings a team to a championship. But right now, it's just kind of a really sad situation where it's not fun to watch Origin. Like it's not a fun train wreck to watch. Like no. TSM, people love watching TSM draw. We can talk trash all day about TSM. Jacob can go on how bad they are, but people are always going to be interested in TSM. It's fun to watch TSM win or lose. They're just a very exciting brand. It's exciting to watch the train wreck happen or to see them exceed. Origin, it's like watching them succeed is boring. Watching them fail is boring. It's just kind of a really boring train wreck that we know the outcome of, and we're just kind of slowly watching them unravel as probably the offseason will come around and upset of Afari will leave, and the team is going to go back to when they were that team. When you remember when the meme team when they did that graphic team practice, heart in with the MS Paint, they're going back to those days. We're going back to those days. So it's just sad. It's not fun. It's not fun to talk about Origin. TSM and Origin have similarities between the two. They both bet big and both are kind of seeing resistance. But where TSM is fun to theorize about, just talking about Origin is just depressing, and it's a slow, painful train wreck. And watching Afari, who's so good, and should be on a championship team, just wasting away his breakout season is just it's really sad.
So Tyler,
I'll say if this ends up working out, it'll be and again, I don't have high hopes, so I won't add to any of the complaints. But I think if this does work out, it will be because to the previous point, Upset and Jactroll end up working out really well together. And there are more than a few champions in this current meta that are kind of more engaged champions that Jactroll is known for, particularly the Thresh. But I think that if this ends up working, and the only other thing I can think of is that if Jactroll and Upset get along super well, and they can contest 2v2 on their own to get advantages, right? That could actually be really huge for this team. If they can get 2v2 either laning advantages or 2v2 bot side kills on their own to take control of bot side, which could lead to better river and dragon control for the rest of the team, especially if Alfari continues to kind of stomp in top lane. I think that could be really good for the team. So that's if it works out, that I think is the path to it working out. I just wanted to add that.